Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Future Dimensions 360. As you guys know, in our last tutorial, we had learned how we can style our ReactJS component. In today's tutorial, we will be learning about controlled components. So what are controlled components? The type of components which have any kind of input element, any kind of form element you can say, for example input element, for example switch elements, for example drop downs, or you can say text area. All these are known as any form elements, any element, and then you are controlling the values of those elements. These kind of components are called controlled components. In React, how you can control the values of these component. So you guys see the traditional input is look like this, the one appearing in the screen. Input type text value. The value for input in React.js component we always stored in a state. So we will say this dot state dot email. Then in the onChange event, what we will do, we will use some handler that will take the value from the default behavior of this HTML or JSX element. So let's move forward and see what will happen when you call onChange, or when you will write anything in the input. The onChange handler will be called. In the handler, what you will do, you will capture the value by using event.target.value, and you can set it to state. Once that the value will be set inside the state will directly update the value in your DOM into the value of the input. So this is the cycle how you can control the values for any element, JSX element or form element. So the component in which you have this complete cycle available is known as controlled component. So let's go ahead in our visual code and see how it works. Let me see, I will create a new component called form.js, and inside this file I will say RFC React functional component, sorry, RCE React class component. And let me get rid of this export, and I'll say I'll import this form inside my app.js file. Sorry, app.js file. I had imported this form inside my app.js file. Let me go to my browser. You guys can see the form is appearing very nicely. Let me go forward and show you, like inside my form component, I'll remove this divs. I'll open a form div here, sorry, form, and inside it I will create one div, and inside div I will say label. My first label will be user name, and after username I will say make an input. Type for the input will be text, and that's it. Let me go to my browser and show you the username with the text field or input field appearing. So this input field, we will see how we can update the values and how we can control these values from the component. So let's go ahead and show you how we can control. First of all, we have two steps to control the value of any kind of form element. The first one is we have to create constant constructor or const, and inside the constructor I can say username is empty. Let me use camel case for this. So it's, let me go ahead and assign this value here. Value is equals to this dot state dot username. Now the second step is to assign the handler on the onChange event. I want any time when the value for this component or element will be changed, I want this value to be captured in some event. So I will say handle user name changed. This is my function that will be inside the class, and I will create an arrow function for that directly, and I'll say event. I will capture the event, and in that event I'll capture the value. So this value, what I will do here is I have to set this value in the state for username. Once I am setting this value in the state for username, so that's mean I am controlling this value from the handle username changed function. So let me go ahead and say this dot set state to change the value, and which value I will change username, change the username to what, event dot target dot value. So what will happen here now, let me go ahead and try to write future. See, the value is updating. So I can see here the value, what is happening. This is actually a controlled component now. What is happening here, my element, where is my element? This input is my JSX element. Inside this element, as soon as I'm changing the value, it's going into my controlled function. Here I am capturing this value and setting up in the state, and inside this state I am updating the value, and once this state is updated, it will call the render method again, and inside that render method this value, the value for this input will be changed. Let me go ahead and show you how we can do the same thing for text area as well. If I can say this is my text area, and I'll save it, and here I will just copy this one, paste it, handle text area changed, I can say, and here I'll say the name is text area, 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 and it's empty. So let me assign here text area. Okay, text area is changed, and here also text area. Let me go ahead and show you how, if I can write, it should be text area, I can say description to make it more clear. So this is username and this is description. For example, this is future and this is anything I will write. As you guys see, this is, sorry to say, it's not updating. Why? Because I forgot to make this value. So let me make it, and let me show you here. This is futu, and if I will make this value, it's still updating the first value instead of updating the description. Why? What is happening here? In this set state, I'm passing this object, and I'm saying to that object, hey, change the value for text area. The username is always getting empty. And whenever I am updating here, the username is updating, the text area is getting empty. For the solution of this, as we had learned in set state, what we will do is we will pass an arrow function. In arrow function, I will say previous state, and this is will be my arrow function. Inside this arrow function, I'll say directly return. What you will return? This object. Inside this object, just return the username and the spread operator and previous state. This will say this, put the rest values same as it is and only change the value for the username. Same I will do it for text area as well. I'll come here, I'll just change the text area here inside text area, and here I will just change the handler for text area also. Let me go ahead and show you. If I am changing the name to future dimension, it's working fine, and here I'll write any random text and you guys can see like it's updating the value now. Now my component is totally controlled component. Here you can see my component is totally a controlled component. So let me move forward and copy this one for drop down as well. I will say animals. I will pass animals as a drop down, and here I will say select menu. Inside select menu I have some option. Okay, first one is for example cat. The value is for example cat. I can say cat. I have two more option. I'll make the second one is for example dog, and the third one is for example rat. Cat, dog, and rat. I'm using three different animals here. Let me remove this one from here. And here first of all I have to assign the value. For the value what I have to do is I have to create another entry in my state object, and that is animal, and inside that one I will say the default one is cat, and I will just come here and assign this dot state dot animal. So here my default animal is cat. Now I will pass an onChange handler. In onChange I will say this dot handle animal change. So let me go ahead and try to create this arrow function here. I'll try to create this one equals to event and arrow function and this. That's it. And here I will just say same thing what I am doing here. I'll just copy the set state and paste it, and previous state as it is, just change the animal. Let me show you in my browser if it's future dimensions, anything here, and here it's dog and here it's rat. So this is the way how you can control input, how you can control text area, and how you can control select menu or drop down. Let me show you how you can submit this form. So for submission of this form, you have to create a new button here down. With the type submit. That will submit your form. And I will say the text inside the button should be submit. So once I will click this one, see the form is submitting. As you can see, the page is reloading. So what I want is, I want to capture all the values within this inputs, whatever I am entering. Let me go ahead. For this one, what I have to do, I have to capture this on submit event from the form, and I can say this dot handle submit. Whenever it's submitting, you have to call this function. By using this event capture, I can go inside this function. I can say event, and I'll say do one thing, just alert, make alert for the values whatever person has right. For example, username is $, this dot state dot username, and text area is $, and then this dot state dot text area, and animal is $, this dot state dot animal. Let me go ahead and try to write something here in my form. I will say future, and here I will say dimensions MENSION, and here I will select dog, and I will try to hit submit. You guys can see username is future, and text area is dimension, and animal is dog. I'm able to get all the values from the form in the alert. As soon as I will hit click, you guys can see my form is still reloaded and I lost all the values. So what I want is, I don't want my form to be reloaded, and I want to keep all the values in the form. For that one, what I have to do here is, after capturing all the values from the state, I can write event dot prevent default. This is a function that will help you to not reload the default functionalities for the submit button. For example, I can say it's future dimension, and the animal is this time red, and submit, and you can see all the values. Once you click OK, now my form is not reloaded. In case you don't have this form option here, so what you can do, for example, I'll remove it. I'll just say it's div. This is not form here, and I'll just say this is also div. So in that scenario, what you have to do is inside button you have to write on click handler and this dot handle submit. You can use this approach as well in case you don't have form. So that's it, pretty much clear for today's tutorial. I hope you guys understand the basics of form and control component. Please don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. In case of any channel, don't hesitate to contact me or comment out under the video. I'm always here to help you. Thank you guys. Allah Hafiz.